of them are low to middle income countries, implying that they have common challenges that they're facing. If we compare these numbers with European numbers, like GDP per capita for Slovenia is the size of European, Western European countries. So you can see that we are hiding below some line of normal income and economical development. GDP per capita, how developed with the time, is presented in this chart on the right side. And you can see that more bunch of the countries, which is below, is traveling together along the development. But there is Slovenia and Greece are very highly developed, and there is Croatia who is trying to approach. Also, there is another challenge in the Southeastern European region, which is they're losing their population. They're losing their population in general, but most of all, it is important they're losing their talented people. And this is called brain drain. So brain drain, you can see the behavior of these curves is all negative tangents. It's all going down, except for one or two small countries, Montenegro, Slovenia, and Macedonia. They retain their population. And Albania is very fluctuative in the population, but all the rest are going down. And they're losing their population, which is no good. Another characteristic parameter, also economic, is a global competitive index, which is an indicator of a capacity of each country to retain talent. And if you see the ranking in 2019, you can notice that Slovenia is ranked 35, Bulgaria 49, Greece 59, but Croatia 64, but they are countries above 70. Out of 141, the last country to retain talent is Chad in Africa. So very much closer to Africa than closer to the Western European or the world leading economies. So this is another parameter showing that something has to be done for this, to control this phenomenon. And what we should do, where we should go, because we have now, after COVID situation, actually we have a COVID situation, COVID-19, and after Brexit, many changes will happen into the demography of the region. But there is no place to go other than stay at home and find a way to develop the countries and make new technologies and employ the talented people to stay and contribute to the further economical development. So we are talking about Southeastern European Institute for Sustainable Technologies, and I want to remind everyone that this is not just fallen from the sky, but there is a person behind this who has initiated, and he proposed this idea. He was a former director general of CERN, 2 mandates, and he was the one who dug up the big tunnel of 27 kilometers underneath Geneva, all the way to Mountain Jura. We are very fortunate to have Herwig Schropper to propose this idea. And the day I met him, I would like to share with you how impressed I was. He came in Trieste on the forum and said there are 2 Greek divinities which are responsible for the time. And he said Kronos, the Kronos god, he is the one who is counting the linear time, the linearity of the time, and he is responsible for harvesting the lives which he is giving. So he is the one who is life and death. But there is another who is Heros, and Heros is a god who is measuring when he has a tool like a balance, And he's measuring when is a good time, when it is a good time to perform certain action. So he said, as I woke up this morning, heroes came to me and whispered to my ear, now it is the right time to do this project for the Southeastern Europe. So we thank him for this idea, beautiful, that we are dedicated to make it become reality. Another common problem, not a problem regional, but this is a world problem, but there are similarities in the cancer, within the region. Certain behavior can be noted that it is very typical for the Southeastern European region. If we put in this table top 10 cancers, and the top 10 cancers is in the legend on the right hand side, so we can see the overall top cancer is a lung cancer, and then the second one is a colorectal, breast, prostate, and so on. This is the really the numbers, absolute numbers of patients. The incidence every year is on the right hand side, dedicated to the whole region, because we are talking the whole region, and we are talking for a facility to become a treatment facility for the region. So globally, the situation is a bit different. Breast is on the first, lung is second, prostate and hand. So there is a certain behavior here that has to be addressed and taken care of in the future, because all these colorectal and breast are controllable cancers. I'm sorry, this doesn't, okay. So cancer with time, we know that the cancer grows with time because the aging of the population, the life expectancy is growing, and there are data for many countries, but not in the Southeastern European data with time of incidence are available. We found only three national registries who have shared their data with the World Health Organization and the Eurostat. So these are the three countries, Bulgaria, Croatia, Slovenia, and we can see the growth curves. Actually, we approximated and modeled those with straight lines. And then we can predict the number of the patients expected in the future under assumption that we don't have any change in the population. So cancer incidence is one of the indicators that gives us a clear picture of how many patients are coming each country to seek treatment. It doesn't mean that these cancers are all together the total number of cancers existing in the countries, but those are the detected ones. And always it depends on the economical development as well. As you can see at the end of this presentation, we will show some multi-parameter charts that this depends on the tools available for detection. So this is Crude rate of new cancers, meaning incidence on 100,000 population. See, the characteristic of these countries, the Southeastern European countries, is incidence is different. We can see there is an average, the average incidence, Crude incidence, which is comparable to that one of Europe. But the incidence of other countries, developed European countries, is higher. And we explained that this is related to the economical development and to the availability of treatment and detection. But there is another parameter that gives, this is called mortality to incidence ratio. This is indicator of how successfully one country deals with the cancer. And this is not realistically, mortality to incidence ratio is not applied to the same group of patients. Mortality is the patients related to the patients who died that year, and incidence is the patients who were detected cancer the same year. So if we can present how is mortality to incidence ratio going, we can notice that Slovenia is very close to what is Western Europe, but all the other countries in the Southeastern Europe are characterized with a much higher. See, Bosnia and Herzegovina 62.8%, while as in Ireland and Switzerland we have 31%. We have double the value of some Western European countries, meaning that people die more of cancer. The outcome of the cancer is fatal, double in some of the countries compared to Western Europe. So we also made a table where we can see what kind of therapy is available in each of the countries. So gene therapy is not available if majority of the countries, and cryoablation is also not available. All the others, chemo, radiation, immunohormonal, and targeted drug therapy are available in these countries. Not to mention that particle therapy is not available, but particle therapy is used in one of those four or more 4 carbon centers and the plenty of European proton centers. So the CE region also is similar, behave similar to the world average. About 47 or 47, about 50% of the patients are referred to radiation therapy, meaning that half of the cancer patients are candidates for radiation therapy, and a certain part of them could be best treated with hadron therapy, which should be available for these countries. And another interesting phenomenon that we tested is how many of the people, of the cancer patients, are refusing any kind of medical treatment. So there is a certain number which could be averaged about 4% through the region. The data is from 2017 from Slovenia. And now to talk about availability of diagnostics equipment. This is all together presented. The diagnostics equipment by means of CT, MRI, and mammography, the 3 most used pieces of equipment to detect cancer. So if we observe, we can see that the leader here is Greece. Suddenly, a few years ago, that was explained to me by Iota, that there was a donation, a huge donation by big donators who decided to improve. But they made Greece the leading country in Europe, better than Switzerland and better than Italy. And with altogether equipment of those 3 modalities for cancer detection. Kosovo is very poor country. They don't have much equipment, and Montenegro and Serbia and others. If you see that red color is missing here, that means we don't have data for mammography from these countries, are not available. So separately shown here, CT, mammo, MRI, PET, CT, and gamma cameras are shown here separately. Also, Greece being a leader in every aspect or for every modality. There are countries that are really struggling for equipment, and hence the outcome of treating and late detection in late phases is an issue for these countries. Now we are coming to availability of radiotherapy equipment. This was the previous was for detection, and now we are talking about cancer treatment. The modalities we examined were Linux, cobalt units, orthovoltage units, and brachytherapy. Cobalt is very tricky unit because this could be used for kind of terrorism, very easy to make to kill people with small amounts of cobalt. So one of those accidents happened in United States, and cobalt will be a modality that will be removed or reduced from use because of the danger from and you can see we don't have very much of those units, but Bulgaria and Bosnia and Herzegovina have the majority of the units. And then we are coming to Linux. Linux are the major radiotherapy treatment tool. And you can see, don't go to the numbers here, but go in the map here. The dark green means that greater than 7 available Linux on 1 million population. And the lighter colors you go, it's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so on, 6 to 7. 6 to 7, meaning that the Balkan area, it's not so bad, well, compared to Africa that is examined by Manjid, but this is really not the milestone, because the milestone appears to be, according to some scientists, 6 Linux per 1 million population would be optimum for treatment. The Linux and cobalts were examined by means of information given by oncologists and information given by regulators. So the difference between those two sources of information is sometimes the regulators, they don't have the information that some kind of equipment is down, but it is not decommissioned, or it is purchased and it is not still commissioned. So more relevant data is obtained by for functioning, not for the existing, but for functioning the equipment. It is received by the oncologists who are sending and referring the patients to take treatment from these modalities. And now we are coming to this mortality to incidence chart, dependent on the GDP per capita, which is on the x-axis. And we have another parameter which is important here, and it is, so this green circle moved. I don't know why, but let me explain.
10 minutes, Mimoza, to end.
Yeah, okay. So this is the chart which gives you a clear view how it is important to conclude that economical development is dependent on the mortality or the success of treating cancer. So the poor countries are not successfully treating cancer, and they're losing their patients because of the lack of treatment equipment and because they are poor, and probably because they don't have organization on a level that they can treat patients efficiently. But also we have group of countries with these green marbles. It is from 0.5 to 1 radiotherapy unit on 100 citizens, and those countries are represented with this 45 medium mortality to incidence ratio. But those people in Belgium, France, Ireland, and Switzerland, taken for an example, a group of countries where the economical development is high, and then we have more above 1 radiotherapy unit per 1,000 citizens, meaning that they are rich and they can provide for their citizens. So the mortality is very low. It's about 30 something. So there is another chart here Cancer incidence versus life expectancy also gives you an impression of the rich countries. Incidence is high because it is detected in early stages, and the number and the population is older in the richer countries. And here you have a group of countries which is a violet, described with violet marbles, and those are incidences are medium. And there is a low incidence group described with these blue marbles, but they are on the same economical level as below. Actually, the economical level is not on the x-axis, but it is the age. So they have the same life expectancy, but they have low incidence, meaning that they don't have sufficient number of equipment to detect this is CT, MRI, and mammo are the sum of those three are the proportional to the radiuses and the colors of those marbles. So these are the poorest countries, and these are the richest countries. So to draw some conclusions, in order to combat cancer more successfully for the CEAST region, we should, before starting our big Southeastern European CEAST project, we have to organize functional national cancer registries in each country within the CEAN region as a first step for establishing a regional cancer database. In parallel, it will be necessary to upgrade the national strategies for early stage cancer diagnosis and treatment, and then leverage the economical development of the low to middle income countries of the Southeastern Europe and bring the culture of collaboration beyond the borders, which is a prerequisite to start working in the Southeastern European. And this is my credits to Manjit, Vesna, and Petya for providing this data and putting together this data and making everything, along with about 30 experts, including Jota Foka, who helped the contributors send data for this presentation. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mimoza, for this thorough work and presentation. This is a good example of all the considerations and difficulties and methodology to use for any other place that they are interested in such statistics. Just to see if there is any question. I think everything was clear at the moment. We have no questions. Maybe from Egypt, that we have them online on Zoom from the university. Is there any question? No question. Okay, so before closing this session,